Hi, everyone. This is Curt Frye, and in this movie, I'd like to talk about interesting things that you can do to work with dates and times in Microsoft Excel. So I've opened my sample workbook here, and you can see that I have all kinds of things that we can do with times and dates. I'll start in cell B4 by displaying the current time and date. In other words, that is the date and time that is currently in my system. And you can do that by creating a formula. So in B4, I'll type equal, then now, N-O-W, then a left parentheses and a right parentheses with nothing in between, and enter. So you can see that we are currently at January 20th of 2024 at 1:32 in the morning. So now you know exactly when I'm recording this. Now, one thing to note about the now function is that it is volatile. That means every time you recalculate the workbook, it will be updated. Because we're looking at minutes, it won't change every time, but by the time I get to the end of this movie, you'll see it change several times. If you want to display the current date, then you can press Control semicolon. So I'll hold down the Control key and type a semicolon, and you get the entry of 1/20/2024. So I'll press Tab, and there's that date. And as I mentioned, you can see that the time updated to 1:33. The date, which I just inserted, is in fact not a volatile function. It will stay at 1/20/2024 for as long as this worksheet is active. Also, in cell D4, you can put in the current time, and that is Control-Shift semicolon. So Control semicolon for the date and Control-Shift semicolon for the time. So there we go, 1:33 a.m. and enter, and there we are. Another useful technique is to display times in hours, even if they go beyond 24 hours for one day. The values that I have in cells B8, B9, and B10 all represent times, and that's the way that Excel works with times internally. It creates them based off of decimal numbers. So what I will do to show how that works is to select cells C8 through C10. Then on the Home tab, I'll go up to the number format control, and I'll click time. And then, actually, with the cells still selected, C8 through C10, I'll type equal, and then B8 will provide the value for C8, and then if I press Control Enter, the formula will copy down. So Control Enter, and I'll click away, and you can see that we have 7:54:21 p.m., 12 p.m., and 4:45 p.m. So that doesn't really give us that much useful information. So instead, let's display those times using hours only. In other words, we're looking for elapsed time. So I will select cells D8 through D10, and then on the Home tab, I'll go back up and click the number format control and click More Number Formats. That displays the Format Cells dialog box, and on the Number tab, which is displayed right now, I'll click Time. And here I have a number of different ways that I can display times in the cells that I've selected. What I want to use is the format here, 37:30:55, and that gives me hours, then the number of minutes, and then the number of seconds. So I'll go ahead and click that, and click OK. So I've applied that format to cells D8 through D10, and with those cells still selected, I'll type equal, and then B8, and to copy the formula to all the selected cells, I'll press Control Enter, and I get 43:54:21, 84, which is 84 hours, and that's 3.5 days. So 3 times 24 hours in a day is 72, plus half a day, which is 12 more, is 84. And then you can see here that we have 16 hours and 45 seconds based on the value of 0.667183. So if you're working with times and you don't want to display days, you only want to display hours, that's the format that you can use. Finally, let's talk about how to work with thousandths of a second. The times that I worked with here only have seconds. So what I want to do is add tenths of seconds, then hundredths, and then thousandths. And this can be used for more precise measurements. You'll see it in auto racing, where they'll display values, for example, lap times in Formula One, that go down to thousandths of a second. So here's how we do that. I'll start in column C, and I'll select cells C14 through C17. And again, we're going to display what we have in column B as a time. So on the Home tab, click Number Format and Time. And then with the cells still selected, I'll type equal B14. So the value from B14 will be displayed in C14 as a time, then Control Enter, and we get these times here. So for example, 14 seconds after midnight, 8:29 and 3 seconds in the morning, and so on. Now let's display those times using thousandths of a second. So I will select cells D14 through D17, and then again on the Home tab, Number Format. Then I'll click More Number Formats. And here I want to click Custom. And I will scroll down. And you can see that just above the @ sign, I have minutes and seconds, and then a decimal component with 0. So the 0 indicates tenths of a second. And if I go up to the type box, I can add 2 more zeros. And that's as far as we can go. We're down to thousandths of a second. So I'll click OK. And then with D14 through D17 still selected, I'll type equal B14. And now we'll see the same value, but as a time in minutes and seconds with thousandths of a second displayed as well. So I'll press Control Enter to enter the formula in every selected cell. And I get 14.195 seconds. And then I have 29 minutes, 3 seconds, 0.147. There are lots of ways that you can work with times and dates when it comes to formatting in Microsoft Excel. And the techniques that I've shown you here should help you work with just about every kind of data that you put into your worksheets. If you like these tips, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.